Shri Memin Matthew, Shri Jacob Matthew, and their family who've been spearheading the Malayalam Manorama group so ably. My colleague in the Council of Ministers, Mr. Alfonso, who's so rightfully been chosen as the tourism minister from the God's own country, a legendary actor and a young politician, Shri Kamal Hassan, Kanimozi, who's ever so pleasant when we meet in the parliament, and the erudite Shashi Tharoorji, all the dignitaries who are present here, a very good morning to all of you. True in the style of Malayalam Manorama, I've literally been served hot to you, like they serve the hot news. I've come straight from the airport, direct to here, not even gone to my room. But it's a great pleasure for me. And I'm grateful to Malayalam Manorama Group for having invited me here for this conference on freedom. You've been gracious to invite me as a minister in the Council of Ministers. However, I primarily stand here in front of all of you as a proud citizen of our country. I'm deeply committed to the freedom of India and the individual freedoms of every citizen. For a very large part of my life, I've been an ordinary citizen, and I have had the occasion in my pride of the country to stand as a person defending our country in the armed forces, and I've also had the pleasure of representing our country in various fields of sports. And therefore, every time that tricolor goes up, and it may be a piece of cloth for some, but every time it goes up, and every time few words mixed with music are played called the national anthem, I get goosebumps, and I'm moved to tears. And I'm sure there are millions more like me. And therefore, all of us very strongly feel that India's freedom needs to be preserved, and any threat from outside or within needs to be repelled. Freedom to us came at a very high price. Our ancestors paid with their lives, spent time in prisons, had the indignity of being called Indian dogs, and they have given us this free India. And therefore, it is up to us to ensure the territorial integrity of our nation stands true forever. For the last 7 decades, India has always tried to have very good relations with its neighbors. And conventionally, it is thought that the disruptions would come physically in the form of our Western neighbors. Our Western neighbor has never ever accepted the fact that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of our country, and therefore, in fact, a part of Jammu and Kashmir still is fighting with the fact that word freedom, what does it mean to them? That was a big challenge for that part of the country. And since none of the conventional wars was successful for our neighbor, because of the dissimilarity in the size and strength of the two countries, our Western neighbor now has resorted to terrorism, subversion, and indoctrination of a few people who could be misled in India. And so we have a new kind of threat today, the one that may not be so visible. Freedom of our country is the sum of our freedom together. And therefore, we have a constitution that assures and guarantees all of us a fundamental freedom. It is unamendable, it is permanent in nature, and it gives us equality, right of free speech, right of movement, right of religion. In fact, the life can never be compromised in our constitution. That's the fundamental right that we have. And therefore, when we have such a liberal constitution, which gives us so many rights, it has to be fully protected. This brings me to a very curious point, and it's a disturbing trend as well. And I say so because I come from a world of sports and the armed forces, and I'm new to this experience.